Hi. People have been asking me why I have been posting more on social media. I don't really post much at all. I think my last grid post was about 2 years ago, and I rarely post stories unless I'm doing something really fun. But over the last few days, I've been posting lots and lots about Gaza and the situation with Israel and Palestine. And I feel guilty. 2 years ago, nearly, I was on the marches, I was having the conversations, and I thought this can't go on. There's no way that this can reach where we now are on the 24th of July. I remember having conversations with friends and partners of friends who were, frankly, Zionistic, but at the time were refusing to say so. And for the sake of my friendship with them, I kept relatively quiet. Like I defended it as best I could from a human standpoint, saying that October the 7th was awful and what Hamas did was terrible, but it's not proportionate, and how many Palestinians need to die before something gets done, before the government steps up. And I suppose I'm guilty of having hope. When the Labour government was brought into power, I got excited. I've voted 3 different ways in the 3 general elections that I've been lucky enough to vote in, and this time I really thought that Keir Starmer and his party were going to be different, that they were going to extol virtues that we haven't seen in 14 years. And now it seems that they themselves are, I don't know, impotent or scared or hamstrung or bogged down in their own inactivity. But we're at a tipping point in the world. We're at a position where we are watching a genocide happen. And look, I know other genocides have been occurring. I know other examples of ethnic cleansing have gone on all over the world in Asia and Africa, but not with one of our allies, not with someone who we have supplied military support to, not someone who we still provide military support to. And I think that's frankly abhorrent. And the videos I've been posting of high-ranking military officials who have been avoiding conversations because Britain is still, apparently, I'm just going on reports I've seen, none of this is, I'm not on the ground, I can't be in there, journalists can't be in there, no one really knows what's going on in Gaza other than what gets out because the Israeli government won't let them go in. The fact that these RAF fighters are providing surveillance and reconnaissance. Outside of all of this, children are starving, children are dying. For those that know me know I was really aggrieved by the situation in Ukraine, and the best I could do at the time was run a charity fundraiser and send money to the United Nations. That's not helpful when it comes to Gaza. I can send money. I don't have much money, but I could send what I have. But what's it going to achieve? Aid workers are being shot at. The UN are being accused of lying. Médecins Sans Frontières are being accused of lying by Netanyahu and his cronies. And our government is standing idly by, saying that us and the 31 countries are going to look at further sanctions or restricting things for Israel. That's not what the Palestinians need. It's not what the Gazans need. It's not what the Gazan children that are suffering from malnutrition need. They need food. They need sanitation. They need medication. They need their hospitals not to have been bombed on the possibility that a member of Hamas is either in the hospital or in a tunnel system underneath it. What Gaza needs is intervention, and if I had a plane and I wouldn't be shot down on my way, I'd suggest that we do an aerial Dunkirk, and every single Cessna, Learjet and Boeing owned by anybody who cares flies directly at Gaza with hundreds of tons of aid and just drops it on the people. Do this argument that Hamas are running some sort of racketeering mafia for this aid frankly doesn't matter, because if you were just to drown the area in aid, Hamas couldn't control it all. I've no idea how much Hamas are involved in Gaza. You hear pro-Israeli people saying that every Gazan is Hamas and the children are being brainwashed at the point of conception, it would seem. But again, that doesn't matter. What Hamas did on October the 7th was awful. The fact that there are still hostages out there, I can't imagine what they've been through. But I can see, I don't need to imagine what the Gazan children are going through, what those that are left without homes, without running water, without a roof over their head, without food in their bellies, without any hope of feeling. I can't see how they're feeling. I can see how they look. And that's what's prompted me to post more. It's what's prompted me to engage with my admittedly small group of followers. Listen, lots of my friends, we've had tense conversations about it. And to those of you that I've talked to that have pro-Israeli opinions, that's okay. You know, if you like the state of Israel because you have Jewish friends, family, or you yourself are Jewish, that is fine and that is understandable. But there is a difference between the state of Israel and the government and the regime of Benjamin Netanyahu, Smotrich and Ben-Gvir. It's as simple as that. And without wanting to invoke Godwin's law, there are probably lots of people that were really proud to be German, but ashamed of the Nazi party. And that's where we are. And I hate to reference, when talking about Israel, a government and a regime that persecuted and committed a genocide and a Holocaust on the Jewish people. But what's happening is it's coming full circle. We can talk so much about what's happened in the last 60, 70 years between Israel and Palestine and things that Hamas have done, things that Mossad have done and all this stuff. But the sins of the father, which is a really old adage, shouldn't really be put on the son or the daughter. And what's happening right now is we are seeing the sons and daughters of Gaza starving and being killed by Israel. There are progressively more and more people coming out and saying, the only good Gazan is a dead Gazan. There is no such thing as an innocent Palestinian. Every Palestinian is Hamas. Can't be true. Isn't true. And I'm going to keep posting. It's one of the small things that I can do. I feel guilty that I haven't done more. I see the efforts of Jeremy Corbyn and I laud it. I see what people like Led by Donkeys are doing and being subservient. I'm not allowed to say anything about Palestine Action because they are branded as a terrorist organisation. But I find it hard that a government is willing to list a group that have done some bad things and caused some criminal damage and thrown some paint on planes as terrorists. That's the choice of the government. They know more than I do. But they're not willing to do it to Benjamin Netanyahu, when the ICC are, when governments all over the world are stepping out and saying, when Slovenia has said that basically anybody in Netanyahu's government is now persona non grata if they move or go anywhere near that country. Why aren't we? Why aren't we as one of the G7 standing up and saying enough is enough is enough is enough, and we are intervening? Why is Keir Starmer not getting all the ministers together and saying, right, how do we help these people? Because if the shoe was on the other foot, we'd want to be helped. Back in the 30s and 40s, when Europe needed help, we stepped up. When there was oppression, when there was systemic persecution, when there was a genocide, we stepped up. And we should do the same again. And it makes me sad. Who am I? I'm just some dude that danced for a while and now writes immersive theatre. What's my opinion worth? Absolutely nothing. But it is a voice, and I think one voice in the ether is quiet, but if every voice speaks out as I do, change has to happen. Surely change has to happen. And I guess I'm imploring people. I understand how nice it is to see pictures on beaches and cool art galleries and memes and dogs that can bark the alphabet. It's all lovely, and it does cure that. It does dull that hideous darkness that the world is in. But if you can open the eyes or change the opinion of one person by posting something or speaking to somebody or doing something, I guess I just feel like I need to do something. And I feel like I've been doing nothing for a long time because I thought the people that I elected, or people that I voted for that were then subsequently elected, would do the right thing. And they're not. So that's why I'm going to keep posting. It's small. It's insignificant. I don't have a large following. But it matters to me. It should matter to you. So if you want to mute me, go for it. But that's what I'm going to be speaking about for a while longer. Mainly because I think it needs to change, but also I guess I want a clean conscience. And this is one of the few ways that I feel like I'm balancing those scales. I wish I could do more. I wish I could. There's a lot of things I wish I could do, but this is one of them. So